Natasha Romanoff aka Black Widow confronts the darker parts of her ledger when a dangerous conspiracy with ties to her past arises. Pursued by a force that will stop at nothing to bring her down, Natasha must deal with her history as a spy and the broken relationships left in her wake long before she became an Avenger. So hear the story of Black Widow.
Okay, you got a plan or shall I just stay duck and cover?
My plan was to drive us away.
It's a shit plan.
The beginning of the story in Ohio in 1995. At that time, Natasha was still a child. She lived with her younger sister, Yelena. His mother is Melina and his father is Alexei. One night they had a dinner routine together. In the middle of dinner, Alexei came home in a hurry and took the whole family away. Alexei shows a disc that may contain confidential data. A chase and gunfight ensued as they fled the Shield's pursuit. Natasha's mother gets shot. Natasha replaces her to control the plane. They manage to escape. Arriving in Cuba, they were greeted by a group of military troops led by the name of General Drakov. Alexei was greeted like a hero. General Drakov calls Alexei as Red Guardian.
The Red Guardian returns.
Alexei has been undercover for approximately 3 years to get the data that was on the previous disc. Natasha's mother is being treated. She looks very in pain. Natasha and Yelena can only see her. Yelena approaches her father but is prevented by the soldiers. Natasha takes the soldier's gun and threatens not to come near.
Don't touch her!
Alexei persuaded Natasha to give him the gun. While talking to Alexei, both children are sedated. Natasha and Yelena downstairs separately with her mother. Yelena and Natasha are recruited by an organization from Russia called the Red Room. They are trained hard to become assassins. 21 years later, Natasha is an adult. Currently she was being chased by the Sword Squad led by Rose's secretary. Natasha is surrounded in a building accused of violating the Sokovia Accords. She assaulted King of Wakanda. But Natasha managed to escape. She left the building tracking device while herself was already on a ship in Morocco. The scene moves to Yelena, who has grown up. Yelena and her partner are targeting someone through a sniper from the top of a building. But it turns out that the target knows and runs off with the package. Yelena chases and gets into a fight with the person. Yelena stabbed him and suddenly the person sprayed a red serum. Yelena seemed to have realized and recognized that the person's name was Oksana. Before he died, Oksana ordered to save all his friends and handed over the package containing the serum. Yelena tore her thigh and took the tracking device that was on her. Yelena's friend then reported to her superior, General Drakov, and activate the Taskmaster protocol. In Norway, Natasha meets her old friend. It turned out that Natasha was helped by her old friend to find a place to live in a house in the forest, as well as a new identity and several driver licenses. She was also given the files from the safe house in Budapest, which she then put in his car. At night suddenly the power went out. Natasha tried to turn on the generator, but there was no fuel, so she went out to drive the car to buy it. On the way on a bridge, the car was hit by a missile. She was attacked by the Taskmaster. There was a fight here. Natasha is aware that Taskmaster is not after her, but a box she brought from the safe house file in Budapest. Natasha tried to take the box, but the Taskmaster managed to grab it and threw Natasha under the bridge. When checked, it turned out that the contents of the box were empty. Natasha had time to put the serum in her jacket. After being checked, it turned out that there was a photo of Natasha and Yelena as a child, and she knew that the package was sent by Yelena. Scene moved to Budapest. Natasha heads to the safe house to meet Yelena. When they meet, they are suspicious of each other. A sister fight takes place here. But in the end they both realize that they have the same vision. Yelena explained that the serum was synthetic gas, antidote to mind control. Yelena accidentally sends a serum to Natasha to ask for help to destroy the Red Room. Natasha was shocked because, to her knowledge, the Red Room had been destroyed. The Red Room leader had been killed several years ago. Suddenly they were attacked by a group of Black Widow's troops. At the end of the fight there was a soldier who was badly injured.
Let me help you.
Natasha wanted to help her, but instead she committed suicide, and finally Natasha believed that the Red Room still existed. The chase continues on the streets. They are chased by the Taskmaster, but they finally manage to escape. It turns out that when Natasha tried to kill Drakov's daughter was also killed. This disastrous serum was secretly created by the early generation of widows. In a conversation between Natasha and Yelena, they agreed to kill Dreykov and destroy the Red Room. They enlist the help of his old partner Natasha to provide a helicopter. They want to save their father, Alexei. Alexei is currently in prison. He gets a package from his children in the form of his superhero action figure. Alexei realized that soon someone would pick him up and get him out of the prison. Red Guardian is escaping. There was a commotion in the prison, the other prisoners also tried to escape. Alexei starts beating the guards and tries to climb over the wall, but is electrocuted by the guard waiting for him on the wall. Her two children, Natasha and Yelena, had arrived at the top by helicopter. Natasha came down to pick up her father.
Such a poser.
Yelena shoots at one of the guard towers, it causes an avalanche towards the prison. As the avalanche drew near, Natasha and Yelena managed to catch her father and leave by helicopter. Alexei was very proud that his two children had managed to save him. Alexei tells the story of General Dreykov, whom he considers his best friend, making him complete an undercover mission for 3 years, and after that he is in prison for the rest of his life. He also told about Melina, the mother of Natasha and Yelena, who worked as a scientist who also worked directly under General Dreykov until now. In order to destroy the Red Room, they must meet Melina, that currently in St. Petersburg. Their helicopter stopped somewhere. Because it ran out of fuel and they continued the journey by walking. Melina sees an intruder and prepares to shoot with her sniper. But what she saw was her whole family gathered to meet her. They sit at the dinner table and talk about how to kill Dreykov, but Melina denies it. She said it was almost impossible to destroy Dreykov and the Red Room that could control other people's will. Melina set an example with a pig that she can control. She can even make the pig stop breathing.
Stop breathing.
Melina tells that she and Alexei infiltrated the North Ohio Institute to steal Hydra technology, a technology that takes freedom. General Dreykov makes a serum that can control a person, and it turns out that Dreykov used the serum to control the widows, including her children. Melina told to Natasha they are not the biological mother and father of Natasha. Natasha was chosen by the system to become an assassin and her birth mother was killed by Dreykov. Suddenly their house is surrounded by 3 Red Room planes. It turns out that Melina is a traitor.
I'm sorry.
She's still loyal to the Red Room. Dreykov troop take Natasha, Yelena, and Alexei to the Red Room. The Red Room was never known to exist because it had been above the sky. They landed in the Red Room and Melina reported to General Dreykov. Natasha and Alexei are detained in different rooms while Yelena is seen in a medical room and is being operated on to have her brain removed. Natasha's disguise was exposed.
Welcome home.
Natasha and Melina exchanged faces. At this time Melina and Alexei had left their cell. Yelena was told by Melina that she kept a knife in Yelena's right pocket. Yelena managed to escape from the operating room. Natasha, whose disguise had been exposed, was in front of General Dreykov. The taskmaster who has been chasing Natasha all this time is Antonia. The little girl of Dreykov's daughter who almost died was killed by Natasha when she bombed Dreykov's residence. This girl has grown up and has become a half-robot with a chip implanted in the back of her neck. Natasha inquired about the name of her mother whom Dreykov had killed. But Dreykov replied with unknown.
Unknown.
Angry, Natasha takes out her gun but can't shoot it. Then she took out her knife. But still couldn't hurt Dreykov. Natasha can't hurt him. Dreykov explains that this is all due to the effect of his pheromones. All widows was programmed when they smell the pheromones, they can't hurt Dreykov. Natasha provokes Dreykov to hit her and makes Natasha bleed from her nose. Dreykov opens access and says information that all widows is in his hands. He can control widows and the rest of the world from the screen in the room. Meanwhile, Yelena manages to find a mind control healing serum. Melina escapes using a sewer and Alexei fights with the taskmaster. After showing all this information, the scene switches to a flashback where during preparation Melina tells Natasha that the only way to escape Dreykov's pheromone control is to sever the nerve.
Sever the nerve.
Natasha managed to injure Dreykov. Meanwhile, Melina managed to destroy one of the engines. Alexei managed to lock the Taskmaster in a cell. Natasha manages to incapacitate Drakov and prepares to kill him, but then a group of widows help him. Drakov managed to escape. When Natasha was cornered, Yelena threw the serum at the widows. Finally, the widows released from mind control. Natasha with her skills had obtained Drakov's ring and opened an access program to the widows' database. It copies all the data. Currently we can see the number of explosions from the Red Room rooms. Natasha take 2 remaining serum and running from collapse building. Natasha manages to take all the data and jumps out of the window. Melina and Alexei have arrived on the jet plane and are waiting for Natasha and Yelena. But their plane crashed before takeoff due to a collapsed bridge. Natasha, struggling to escape, meets Antonia and frees her, but an explosion separates them. Natasha and Yelena saw General Drakov trying to escape. Yelena destroyed one of the propellers of Drakov's plane. She was thrown to the bottom because of explosion. Natasha took a parachute and caught Yelena, who was in free fall. Natasha saw the Taskmaster approaching her. She throws Yelena and fights the Taskmaster until they landing. Natasha took off the Taskmaster's helmet and punched the serum until they both lost of the mind control. Natasha looking for Yelena and finds her lying on ground. They found their parents safe. There was 1 serum left and it was given to Yelena to make a copy and free all widows. The widows' squad came over to pick them up and they left with the plane. 2 weeks later Natasha met her old partner. He bought Natasha a jet. Natasha say goodbye to her old partner. She leaving with a jet and the film is the end. In the post-credits Yelena visits Natasha Romanoff's grave and suddenly Valentina comes.
I can't even imagine.
Valentina is a person introduced in the series Falcon and Winter Soldier. She said that the next target was the person who responsible for Natasha's death, namely Clint Balton. Surprisingly, Yelena is now working for Val and will become one of the threats to the Avengers. We don't know why Val wants Clint dead, but he could be just the first target in a plot to replace the Avengers with her own pawns. Meanwhile, Yelena doesn't know the consequences of Natasha's death in Vormir. Val remains a big question mark. In the comics, Val worked for S.H.I.E.L.D. but was revealed to be a Russian sleeper agent. She also infiltrated Hydra for S.H.I.E.L.D. and assumed the identity of Madame Hydra, but her true allegiance lay with the Russians. We don't yet know who MCU Val is working for and what her plan is, but her comics history offers plenty of options. She could be helping to restore Hydra or working for some clandestine extra-governmental group. It's possible Val is trying to create an MCU equivalent of the comics Thunderbolts or Dark Avengers. Both of these super teams were made up of villains, unbeknownst to the world at large. We still have plenty movie like this. Click this link to watch Voyager movie. Film about a mission to save the human species from extinction by sending a group of young people to a new planet. While you at it, hit that like button, don't forget to subscribe. You might even want to hit that bell and get notified every new video comes out. Alright, I will see you soon on the next video. Later.